Okay. An antique auto club is 300 members. The current yearly membership is $400 for each member, but a survey shows that for every $20 increase in price, 10 members would drop out of the club. What yearly fee would maximize the club's income? Again, like at face value, this is completely like like you could, I think, in theory, plug in numbers and just play with it until you maximize it, but it hurts your head. If you'd use the method I've shown you, it will spit out the answer in under 2 minutes. Once you get the hang of it, let's say 5 minutes conservatively, and you have no thinking to do. You just follow a process. Okay, so we got two things. Again, we got to come up with two equations, right? I would say, let's say let x represent the number of $20 increases. Okay, and R can represent the revenue. Okay, now, if you guys remember your distance time questions, like those questions, this is the same thing all the time. When you're talking about revenue, how do you make any revenue with anything? It doesn't matter if it's a car club, doesn't matter if you're like making things in your house like t-shirts and selling t-shirts, right? Doesn't matter. How do you make money? Revenue is equal to what? The number of items sold multiplied against what? How much you're charging? Price. This is like every time you see like a money question like this, and optimizing financial money, like this is how you like revenue. It's talking about how much money you're making. This is revenue. You're gonna start with this question all the time, and then you're just gonna make it relevant to the question you're talking about, right? So I like this. This is an important. At the very least, this locks in for you guys. Oh goodness. At the very least, this locks in like what we're doing, right? Then you fill out each piece individually. Okay, well, the number of items sold. What happens? What did you start at? How many people? 300. Okay, so that's fine. Let's start there. Revenue equals 300. Now, you've changed something, and something else changes as a result. So we increased the price by $20. What happened when we increased the price by $20? 10 people left. So minus 10, right? 10x. Because x represented the number of $20 increases. So every time I increase the price by $20, I lose 10 people, right? That's your number of things sold, because you're not selling memberships to those 10 people anymore. You've lost them. Is that okay? Second part is what? The price. Well, what's your price? $400. And then what? You increase the price by $20 X number of times. Is that okay? Once you have those two things, the question, like, you're on autopilot now. There's no more thinking. Hopefully. Right? You guys should have, like, you just keep doing questions until you reach the autopilot stage. Okay? That's the hard part of the question over. Hopefully. Okay? That's written in factored form right now, kind of. Not even really. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to write it into standard form so that we can complete the square. How do I write this in the standard form? First times first, first times last, second times first, second times last. Just expand it. Okay, and then the revenue becomes 300 times 400 will be 120,000? 100. What is it? Okay, that's what I thought. 4 zeros. That's what I thought. Why is it 4 zeros? You add zeros. There you go. Fun fact. I'm learning with you guys. Then plus, what's 20 times 300? 2 times 3 is 6. And how many zeros do you count? 6,000. X minus 4,000x minus 200x squared. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite this in descending order so that it looks like something you've seen before. Negative 200x squared plus 6,000. Or we could collect the like terms in the middle if you want. Okay, there you go. What's step 1 of completing the square? Gotta get x squared by itself, so which means I gotta take the negative 200 out. Okay, now what? Z equals negative 10 divided by 2, which will be negative 5. Okay, which is 25. So we're going to go back into the square brackets. Can everybody kind of see the importance of the square bracket? Like, I use the square brackets to keep myself organized because these things get long, right? The square brackets just help me. I just trying to. Chances are, if it helped me, it's going to help some of you anyway, at the least. Oops. Round bracket goes there. Square bracket plus 120,000. R turns into negative 200, square bracket, x minus 5 squared, minus 25, square bracket, plus 120. We'll come up here, multiply the negative 200 in. Negative 200, round bracket, x minus 5 squared. What's negative 200 times 25? Careful. Is it 50,000? Okay, collect the two numbers on the end. What's the vertex? 5 and 125,000. So that means the max revenue that could be created from this organization is 125,000. That occurs after they increase by increase 5 times, let's say, which turns into what? What's the membership fee, I guess? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'll back up one step before I ask that question. It's what's the price increase, I suppose? $100, right? Because it's going to be is 5 times the $20, which equals $100. Okay, so it's going to cost you $500 if you want to be in this car club. The price that maximizes the club's revenue is going to be $500 to be in this car club. It's 100 from the price increases plus the original $400 that it cost to be in the club in the first place. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did you get 5,000?
The 5,000's from when I multiply the 200 in.
Oh, you did negative 200.
Negative 200 times 25. That should be the 5,000. They're both negative, so it comes out positive, right? Okay, any other issues? Okay, I'm going to start the next question the exact same way, right? Now, if you were like, I don't know, if you were an employee of the city in charge of, I don't know, city transit rides, right? You would have done some research around what would have happened. Like you would have sent out surveys and found out what would have happened had you increased the bus fare. At which point you could do some math, like what we're doing, to figure out, okay, I can only increase the fare this much in order to maximize our revenue right now. Obviously, it changes. Like a year from now, people might be more willing to pay for a bus or something, right? Like, I don't know. They don't know. But they're probably always doing research to find, just to get data so that they can answer questions like this. How do we maximize the revenue from the buses, for instance, right? Okay, you can come up with a whole bunch of different scenarios of where this could be applicable. It does require a little bit of data in the sense that you have to find out what would happen if something else changed. That's the only perk or flaw, I say, with this method. But how else are you ever going to find out that how something changes if you change something else? Like, you're going to have to survey to get data, right? So let's try this question. A city transit system carries 24,800 bus riders in one day for a fare of $1.85. A survey indicates that the number of riders will increase by 800 every 5-cent decrease in the fare. What fare will result in the greatest revenue? Okay. So let's say, same thing as the last question. Let X represent the number of 0.05 5-cent decreases. And it's always the number. Okay? And R again will be revenue. Okay? I don't know if it's a good habit. I always write out R is equal to number of items sold. You guys can write this down or not. I think it's useful because it puts me in the mindset of writing the equations. Okay? So then you just fill in the blanks. Number of items sold. There's 2,400 bus riders, right? 24,800. I'm thinking. Right? Okay. And then it says that the number increases by 800 plus 800 for every 5-cent increase. So X we said, right, in our let statement. Then from there, we look at the price. Okay, well, we started at $1.85, and we're going to decrease the price by 0.05x. Okay? So then we just distribute.
Is it plus like 680 or?
45, sorry. I figured that might have, it's 2/8. That's just the math from what? Okay. Okay, all I did was expand there, okay? I'll let you guys get caught up. Okay, now we have a nice equation, not necessarily nice actually, but it's written in standard form. What's the first step? Get the number in front of x squared to be 1. So we're going to factor out the negative 40, right? Negative 40, open some square brackets. What's left after you take it out? You're going to get x squared minus 6x, right? You're going to leave the number on the end alone, right? Like usual. Like this? Oh, sorry. Right? Plus 45,880. Okay? Now, go find your z value, because x is by itself now. Z is equal to negative 6 divided by 2 squared. It's negative 3 squared is equal to 9. So you go back into the square brackets. X squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 9 square bracket plus 45,880. First three terms create a perfect square trinomial that ultimately turn into x minus 3 squared minus 9 okay. Then you just multiply the negative 40 in. Yeah, I was just looking at the sign there. So there, the vertex you could write as being 3, 4, 6, 240. What does that mean? It means the maximum revenue would be 46,240 after 3 5-cent increases. Which means,
Why does it say decrease?
sorry, decrease, sorry. That's why you write the let statements. That's me getting carried away here. Okay, so which means when you decrease the price by 15 cents, you maximize revenue. Okay. What's the fair price then? Like how much is it gonna cost to ride the bus?
What does it have to do?
$1.85. It's gonna cost $1.70 to ride the bus. That's gonna maximize the city's fare. Or revenue for the buses, okay? Okay? Right, yeah.
Are you gonna give us more spaces on the quizzes and passes that you're doing after this?
Yeah. I think these might be like 1-pagers. I might just give you one. The problem is I don't want it, like when I give you the test, I wanna fit it on 4 pages, right? So nobody freaks out with this booklet that gets dropped on their desk. It's a funny line. They don't teach you how to do this in Teachers College. There's not a class